Fruit! Fake! Fake! Fake grapefruits! Fake! Liar! You liar!
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind Museum of Art and Natural History. It is a wild, wacky, wonderful, weird, freaking Wednesday. Okay, you got me, you got Uman, you've got the entire world. If you want to talk to him, get your questions into the comment section. We will get to you. And I want to thank all of the new subscribers who have gone to the preparedmind.club, C-L-U-B. That's where you can really support this show and take control away from social media. Social media like YouTube and Google, who have sought to enrich themselves at your expense by making you watch their shitty commercials and then not paying anybody for creating the content that they put their commercials in. That's where we're at, folks. It's a big screw job. It's a big club, a big corporation, and we're not in it. Anyways, no, your support matters. And believe it or not, when you watch those commercials, I think it must benefit the channel somehow. Anyways, look, folks, it's Wednesday. Let's get into it. This is the big news. I want to thank Orlando for bringing it to my attention, but I was already well aware. This is wild. Wild. The Slovakian Prime Minister, Robert Fico, Slovakia. Remember that country called Czechoslovakia? Well, it split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia. So there's no longer Czechoslovakia. Anyways, the Slovakian Prime Minister, Mr. Fico. Oh, yeah, he is a populist. That is to say, the population loves him, but the powers that be don't. The people of Slovakia loved him and put him in power as prime minister. But big corporations don't like him. Guess what happened with Mr. Robert Fico, Prime Minister of Slovakia today? He was shot 5 times, folks. Not once, not twice. Give it to me, 5. Bang, 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 bang. 5 fucking times he was shot. What's amazing is I believe he's still alive. Now, let's ask some questions, shall we? Time for the rest of the story, as the late, great Paul Harvey would say. And now for the rest of the story. He was shot by an asshole named Juraj Cintula. And guess what he is? He is a left-wing radical extremist and a writer. That's right, a journalist. Oh, he's a writer. Oh, he's intelligentsia. Decided to take up arms and shoot the leader of his country 5 freaking times. That would be an attempted assassination. Now, I have some questions. Did the gun make him do it? Did the gun do it all by itself and he was just holding the gun? Or is the commie Democrat type of asshole that this guy is he a murderous Biden lover? Well, I think he must be. Because get this. The Slovakian Prime Minister has refused to support the Ukraine war, has criticized the Ukraine war against Russia, and he is also, folks, he's been critical and stood against the World Health Organization's global pandemic agreement, accord, treaty. He doesn't want anything to do with it. It's funny that, another Sirhan, another Robert Hinkle Jr. decided to try and pull a murder off. I tell you what, folks, I've been shot I've been hit with ricochets. They all hurt. I can't imagine being hit directly 5 times in one sitting. But now I want to ask you one question. The Prime Minister, Mr. Fico, how much stronger do you think his resolution will be to fight these globalist sacks of shit that are trying to ruin every country in Europe and every state in our country as well as Canada with their woke bullshit, anti-human, eat some bugs, take this poison and inject yourself, assholes. Oh, yeah, they also want to destroy farming and invite a bunch of immigrants into the country to rape all the women in Slovakia. I don't think for a second that Robert Fico is going to go, well, now that I've been shot 5 times and I've had a chance to think about it, I'm going to join the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and the United Nations and condemn freedom and join their fascist super party. I don't think so. And now, folks, you've gotten the rest of the story. Tune in next week to see what the fuck happens next. Woo! I tell you what, let's do this. Folks, it's a wild, wacky Wednesday, and I just can't not give you this story. Stormy Daniels, porn star extraordinaire, is married to a male former porn star. And this jackass says the entire family is going to leave the United States if Trump is acquitted in the hush money case. You know, I think that's a great idea. And since Stormy owes Trump $300,000, I'm sure she's going to have no problem trying to leave the country so she doesn't have to pay it back. You would think that with all of her experience, utilizing her entire physique to satisfy men for porn purposes, that she would be able to make that money up. She could do like a Stormy 5,000 and take 5,000 Democrat dicks in one day and make that kind of money. I'm sure she could. Now, I wonder if this guy, Stormy's husband, I wonder if he enjoys his wife after a hard day at work. I wonder if he meets her at the door and she comes through and gives him a big kiss on the lips. Or does she go brush her teeth and gargle bleach for half an hour before she's allowed to touch anyone or anything in the house? These are the allies of Democrats, folks. Wild, wacky, crazy, Jew-hating, white people hating, freedom hating, America hating, children. They hate children. I mean, get this. Uman, I hope you're paying attention. By the way, today, folks, Uman is wearing a very awesome hat. Maybe he'll share it with us. I appreciate this hat, but, anyways. There it is, man. Look at that hat. That's some good stuff, dude.
I had to put on the fancy hat. Had a customer visit today.
Nice. And you got the clean, very clean shirt. You look like Jamie Heineman's brother. You just need the little round glasses from Mythbusters. You would probably do a better job on their show. I could be the loony conspiracy guy. You could be the down-to-earth, realistic dude who says, back up, John. Your fucking cheese slipped off the cracker again, buddy.
I'll get a whiteboard of truth, and I could do all the math formulas and all the engineering stuff on there, and
right. And then I could draw a coronal mass ejection cooking everyone's chickens for him.
Yeah, through the hole in the ozone layer that everybody.
There you go. About. Right through the hole in the ozone layer. I wonder if the ozone layer is bigger than Stormy Daniels is. Never mind. Let's leave that one there.
Speaking of Stormy, I don't know if it was a real picture or if it was a meme, but there was a picture floating around about her and her boobless bulletproof vest. Yep.
And then they said that it was the cat Smudge, and the girl yelling at him, and then it showed Stormy yelling at Trump, and it was like, memes are coming true. And
Yes,
you
they
sent
are.
that to me. That was great.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll let you get back to it.
It's Wednesday, man. Look out. Okay,
Yes,
let's
it is.
continue.
Hump
It's wacky.
day.
Florida in the news. Get this. A Floridian dentist. He's in the United States. He's in Florida. In the United States of America. This dentist calls for Jews to die. Why would a dentist do that? He said this, quote, "Oh Allah, annihilate the brothers of apes and pigs." You know, when you look at the civility, the intelligence, the characteristic public behavior, and compare the average Israeli or Jew to the average fucking screwball Muslim. Now, I know there are great people out there, folks, but once again, the average, right? Average. Who are the apes and pigs? Anyways, this jackass says that. So, the dentist, by the way, is an Islamic imam. And when you hear someone say Islamic imam, you translate that to mean American and Jewish hating jihad murder expert. Because that's what they are. They're experts in who should be murdered and who shouldn't, and what countries should exist and what countries shouldn't. Anyways, this jackass has called for the annihilation of the tyrannical Jews. Now, he could be could get a little punishment for his vicious, violent anti-Semitism. And he recorded this in a sermon to fellow Muslims. It's like, dude, they're not smart enough to learn. Or no, they're so proud, so certain, so sure that what they say is correct that they'll just keep saying it. Now, what I say is hopefully this asshole loses his Florida dentist license and is deported or at least kicked out of Florida for proclaiming himself an enemy of freedom, an enemy of America, an enemy of decency. What a dickhead. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who deserves the coveted horse's ass award more than these fucking people? It's a shit show every day, right? All of these Democrats. Look. The Democrats are on the same side as the anti-Palestinians. They're on the same side as anti-freedom, anti-America, anti-intelligence, anti-free speech. They're anti-everything. That's their fucking party. That's their slogan. If you hate America, freedom, and decency, then join our party. That's what the Democrats say. Wow. Now, let me continue on this wild, wacky, wonderful racist Wednesday. You probably heard of this screwball of a bitch, and she's a congresswoman, or at least I think she's a congresswoman, Ayanna Pressley. She's part of the jihad squad there in Congress. She is a big part of the anti-American, anti-decency party. She's a Democrat. And this is her quote: "I'm so tired of white men failing up. Failing up. And I'm sick of black, racist, bald bitches complaining about people in her own party. Democrats, like Biden, he's failed his way up. Schumer, he's failed his way up. Michelle Obama has failed his way up. Wait. Michelle isn't a white man, but he is a black man, and he has failed his way up, aka fucked up. And by the way, Kamala Harris fucked her way up too. So, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, they say shit like this. Ayanna Pressley is supposed to represent all of her constituents. I tell you what, I don't know who she had to screw to get to the top, but apparently she doesn't like other people failing up too. I'm tired of all of these bitches fucking their way to the top. And I'm tired of racist nags like Ayanna Pressley and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan, I married my brother Omar and I do it again, Omar. I'm tired of these anti-American racist nags. Whew. It's crazy, folks. It's crazy, and it's just gonna get worse. By the way, NBC News out of Chicago has this to say on this wild, wacky, weird-ass Wednesday. They say the Pride Month celebrations get a big fat terror alert from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security right there in Chicago, folks. You betcha. They did a PSA, a public service announcement. The agencies, I guess that's the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, they warned that, quote, foreign terrorist organizations or their supporters may seek to exploit increased gatherings associated with the upcoming June 2024 Pride Month. So, where are all the gays for Palestine and butt pirates for Palestine? Where are all the where are they all going to be at? Is the FBI saying and the Department of Homeland Security saying that terror groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, IS, are they saying that they will show up at the gay pride parades and commit acts of terror? Will the fruitcake rainbow coalitions still support Gaza and Palestinian and Hamas rape, murder of children and women? Are they going to continue to support them if they get attacked? So I want us to remember this, folks. If there's an attack and a murder or a series of murders or a huge terror just activity going on during Pride Month anywhere, are they going to accuse patriots, Americans like you and me? Or are they going to remember that they put out this warning in their public service announcement? But now, I don't know. Should these terror groups and their supporters here in America, should we worry about them? Because the LGBT trans crowd has murdered more than the Palestinian terrorists to this point in this country. They should all be under arrest because they do commit murder. They do. They're not defenders of freedom. They're not patriots. They're all murderous terrorists. I'm talking about the illegal aliens that are here. I'm talking about the Palestinians and their bullshit supporters that are here. I'm talking about the pro-abortionists. They murder people all the time and make sure that little babies get murdered while good, decent Americans are being prosecuted by the Biden administration, by Merrick Butlick Garland, the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, because they might be praying within earshot and they're being prosecuted under a loosely written, unconstitutional piece of shit statute. So, weird, wacky Wednesday, you bet. You bet. It's going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And when I say terrorists, folks, I mean it. These illegal aliens are terrorists. They are murderers. They are rapists. They are drug dealers. They are human traffickers. They do kidnap. And in this story, known as Biden border bloodbath, an El Salvadorian illegal alien, an illegal invading, murderous, corrupt, piece of shit, criminal alien from El Salvador, murdered a woman, an American, in West Virginia. And you know what makes this worse? Is he did it by burning her to death. He lit her on fire. And I'll tell you what, That's done all the time to women in Muslim nations. Not every day and every person, or they'd all be dead. But they do that. They capture, cage, and then burn people alive to keep other people from daring to speak up against them, daring to disobey, daring to be themselves. That sounds a lot like the Biden regime. That sounds a lot like the Democrats. That sounds a lot like Washington, D.C., where if you dare to speak up or disobey, they will take you and throw you in prison, put you in solitary confinement, deny you food, deny you medicine and medical care. They'll deny you a sanitary existence because they will make sure that your sewer system backs up into your cell. Don't tell me they don't know what they're doing, folks. They know exactly what they are doing. It is Wednesday. It is definitely wild, wacky, and freaking weird. And folks, on the economic front, I know I haven't been speaking much about economics, but the Federal Reserve has painted itself into a corner. It has lied itself into a trap. It's got two doors to work with. One door is print more money. The other door is raise or lower interest rates. They've got to do something. We have banks that are on the verge of failing. Hundreds and hundreds of banks are on the verge of failing. And the problem is the Federal Reserve, Jerome Chief Goon Powell, as Craig Hemke likes to call him, Chief Goon Powell, if he raises rates to try and get this inflation that won't stop under control, it will finally crush these banks. They're holding on with their fingernails, folks. Hanging on with their fingernails. The commercial real estate market is crumbling like a mummy that has been exposed to new air that it hasn't felt in thousands of years. As soon as the air hits it, they crumble to dust. They're crumbling. These banks. What is Powell going to do? If he drops the interest rates, there'll be some shit to pay, some hell to pay. Gold jumped up today. Silver really jumped up today. It got stopped, though, at $29.99 an ounce. Why is that significant? Because $30 is the number that if silver closes the day, closes the week, and closes the month above $30, they know there will be a firestorm of investment money that runs into safe havens like gold ETFs, physical gold, as well as silver ETFs, and silver products. Anything that is safe, and commodities. In other words, money is probably going to pull its parachute and wait for everything to take a shit and crash. It's getting crazy, folks. Crazy. Unbelievable. It's awful. What they're doing is awful. Mr. Uman, I hope we've got a lot of great questions all lined up. And in fact, I want to remind you guys again, while we're at the Prepared Mind Museum of Natural History and Unnatural Warfare, here we are. We are engaged, folks, in warfare like we never have been in America. We are literally, folks, if you could have taken the attitude and character of government from 1930s Nazi Germany, extracted it and applied it to 2020s in America, you'd have the same thing, with the government using its idiot youths and opposition groups that oppose and hate America to destroy America. It's unbelievable, right? These fruitcakes that are running around demanding people scream and yell and call them by whatever pronoun they come up with, and that they should be called and identified by whatever animal, vegetable, or mineral they claim, right? And then we're supposed to accept them and even applaud them for coming out of the closet as fucking lunatics. Well, in Peru, folks, in Peru, their government actually acknowledges reality. In Peru, the government has officially classified the LGBTQIA plus crowd type people as literally mentally ill. That's funny. In America, that's what the DSM manual said. That's what the psychology book said just a couple of years ago. They're mentally ill. They are suffering from gender and reality dysphoria. They're confused about what reality is. Now, me and you, we go to the bathroom and we realize when we look down what our gender is. We look in the mirror and go, oh, you're a human being. Not, oh, geez, I don't know if I'm a girl or a boy. And then look in the mirror and go, geez, am I a human or am I a dog or a tree or a fire hydrant or a fucking giraffe? Anyways, I agree 100% with Peru's government on classifying trans, non-binary, and intersex people as mentally ill. I agree 100%. Anyone who claims to be part of the LGBTQIA plus idiocy crowd, they're sick in the head. And folks, we're discovering that the typical hardcore LGBTQIA plus person, they're violent, murderous, insane, delusional, and they're also perverted child groomers. Prove me wrong. Now, folks, I know gay people. They're not the same ones that we see on TV, screaming and yelling and cussing and threatening people with murder and jumping around in front of children, wagging their fucking genitals in the face of kids and trying to get them to read pornographic material. There's a big difference, folks. There's a huge difference between these freaks and fruitcakes and other people who are just trying to live quiet, private lives. Big difference. Big fucking difference. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind on this whacked out fucking hump day? Hump day. We got to get over this, folks. We got to get through this. Oh, man. Just wow. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Ooman. Look, folks, these wackos are idiots. At Washington University's ceremony, their commencement ceremony, the fucking graduation, right? The chancellor of the university stands up and is going to address the students, the crowd, everyone. And instead of the students listening, the anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, pro-murder graduates start to scream, shut it down, to shut down their own graduation ceremony. Can you imagine? You send your fucking kid to college for 4 years, and it takes 6 years for them to do it. And you've paid, fuck, I don't know, name the number, anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 for your idiot child to go to college, to get a degree. And they don't even fucking behave themselves. They start screaming, shut it down, and trying to stop their own graduation ceremony. Folks, they drown out the university chancellor and his speech. All these idiots, these pro-Hamas, pro-terror, pro-murder idiots, the only thing they care about, folks, is making a scene, interrupting and impeding everyone else's rights, and they care about destroying the institutions that make America a great place. These morons, folks, have no future. Period. They just wasted either their parents' money or their own money, which they're not going to pay back, to go to university, to be brainwashed and become useful, violent idiots. This is precisely what happened in Russia prior to their communist takeover. They got a bunch of college idiots riled up and brainwashed, telling them they need to destroy the government and whoever controls the government, whether it's white people or European culture or Jews or whatever they fucking need to hear for the day. And they'll go out and destroy it. And they will become the very first group that is wiped out by the new communist regime once they take over. Once they have control of a country, socialists murder their own footpads, their own little baby soldiers. These moronic kids who have no skill, no talent, no ability to think. Period. They have gone to school to learn how to repeat what someone else just said and believe it. And for example, I'm not just making this shit up, or am I? You tell me. How many interviews do we have to see where someone goes to interview a protester and asks them, why are you here? Why are you protesting? What are you protesting against? I listened to one today, folks, where a woman was asking a protester, why are you against Trump? And this protester that I think was a she, how am I supposed to fucking know? They claim to be anything. No sex, intersex, all genders, no genders, gender fluid. They're fucking brain dead and they are retarded, literally. Anyways, this brain dead, retarded person says Trump murders people. He murders all of his opposition, right? And so the woman who interviews says, name one. Give us an example. Point to a murder that occurred that was Trump's fault, that Trump asked to be done, that Trump is responsible for. And after about 30 seconds of the person going, well, I'm going to, and she goes, oh, I'll let my friend answer that. And the interviewer says, no, you're the one that says he's committed murder and called for people's murder. Who did he kill? Now, after the girl for another 30 seconds wouldn't answer the fucking question, I turned it off. But I would have said, well, aren't you pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas people? Aren't you calling for not just murder, but genocide of all Jews, all Israelis? How can Trump be the bad guy when they're calling not for the murder of a person here and a person there, but for the murder and extermination of an entire people and nation? Is this idiot that was being interviewed, isn't she culpable? Doesn't she have shared responsibility in joining the crowds of other mindless morons out there, all chanting for the death of people that they don't understand why they're chanting? And that, folks, can you imagine paying $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 so you can learn to repeat what someone else says and not understand what it is you're doing? These people don't know what they're doing. They don't know who they're condemning or why. They're just shooting their fucking mouths off. They love attention, but you ask them for specifics, forget it. Forget it. Wow. Anyways, folks, it is a wild, wacky, wonderful, weird Wednesday. And the wonderful, I'm not saying it's wonderful. That's me being a little facetious. Kind of like when President Trump was saying, that Hannibal Lecter, he's a wonderful guy, a great guy. Yeah, remember when he decided to eat his friend for lunch? What a wonderful guy, right? He's being facetious. He's being satirical. He's being joking. When I say today is wacky, wild, weird, and wonderful, I think you get it. In fact, I'm certain you get it. here we are. Mr. Ooman, I know it's a kind of a weird, wacky comment section today. I've been doing the first 30 minutes, the monologue, and wasn't able to observe everything because I'm just trying to absorb and then articulate the inarticulable. That's a word right there, man. Inarticulable. Try that one. Go ahead and say that 12 times fast. I can't. I can barely say it twice. Anyways, what a wild time. Do we have any comments? Do we have any questions? Do we have any thoughts? Badass Diving Frog says, hey, John, in 3 weeks, it's Happy Skittles month. Watch out, the BS starts our summer. Watch out, the BS starts our summer. Are we talking about what is in 3 weeks? Is 3 weeks when the Fruitcake Festival starts? Is that what? That's what's coming. The Fruitcake Festival. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm down here in Florida. I'm certain there's a few fruitcakes. You know, I've heard about Florida Man. Florida Man does this. Florida Man does that. He has a pet alligator. He feeds people to alligators. Florida Man's dangerous. But then there's, you know, look, if they start their pride parades, we may as well, what? Just turn the country over to them, right? Let's just give it to them. Is Biden going to hang more pro pole smoking, pro butt dart, pro LGB flags at the White House? Is he going to adorn the White House with more anti-American perverted bullshit? I would count on that. I'd count on him to do that. Right. Now get this. I want to remind everyone of something that happened. In 2020, a man named George Floyd, who has now been sainted as a great martyr. He was like a 7-time felony loser, a man who went to prison, a convicted felon, a man who did a home invasion robbery, stole a woman's car. She was pregnant, assaulted her, pointed a gun at her baby that was in her stomach, threatened to kill her. A man who was a drug addict, George Floyd. George Floyd, the great saint. He was on fentanyl, enough to kill a fucking horse. And he was passing counterfeit bills, another great federal felony, when he was, well, turned in. Someone called the cops and said, hey, there's a whacked out, drugged out, stoned out of his mind fucking moron here trying to pass counterfeit bills. So the police show up and try and arrest this dumbass, St. George Floyd. Well, he panicked, St. George Floyd. Did he resist an arrest? And he resisted and he resisted and he resisted. And he claimed, I can't breathe, for 10 minutes before he finally died from his drug overdose. But because this great man, St. George Floyd, died while he was being arrested, the world of idiotic, racist morons decided to start violently protesting, setting police cars on fire, breaking windows, attacking police, attacking businesses, burning, looting, and murdering the whole way, with the occasional rape. They killed black men. They killed white men. They killed everybody. You bet. They even tried to kill Saint Rittenhouse. But the goodly saint pulled the Kenosha hat trick and shot 3 left-wing, violent, murderous scumbags, killing 2 and blowing the arm off of the 3rd. Well, this year, just a few days ago, an Air Force airman, an active duty or reserve airman, I don't know which, had the police show up at his house, enter his house, shoot and kill him. And it was the wrong house. He was the wrong guy. And he was murdered by the police because they kicked down the wrong door. And this airman, folks, was black. Why hasn't BLM stood up, screamed bloody murder that another black man has been killed by law enforcement wrongfully, unlike St. George Floyd, where he killed himself? But this guy, this airman, and I don't have his name at the moment, he died. Why aren't the anti-white, because they are anti-white, why aren't BLM, who are a bunch of trans Marxists? That's right, they're transgender Marxists at the core. Why aren't they rioting and burning and attacking police and cities and trying to burn down police stations again and destroying businesses and looting? Why aren't they? Well, because Biden is president and they don't want the nation to go into a series of riots and have Biden be responsible for trying to clean it up. That's exactly what. Badass diving frog, the BS, it could start, but not yet. Not yet. Don't worry, though. They're going to try and find a way to blame Trump for it all, and then they might start rioting. All righty. Hey, Mr. Ooman, we've got Heidi on the board. And oh, shit. Heidi, you're using words that we got to be careful with. She says it sounds like a target-rich environment at the LGBTQIA plus month. They need a whole fucking month? Anyway, she says, I would have a hard time deciding who to back, who to pick off. Look, they could all end up going after each other. Wouldn't it be fascinating? I would love to see in Chicago especially, and New York City, and why not Portland and San Francisco, every pride parade across the country. I would love to see all of the fruitcake show up. And then I'd like to see all of the environmentalists show up and oppose them. Because all of that, the tight polyester clothes they're wearing comes from petroleum. Their clothes are made out of plastic. Their dildos are made out of plastic. Their butt plugs are made out of plastic. Their fake breast implants that these gay guys have are made out of plastic. And plastic, as you all know, comes from oil. And oil is destructive to the planet. So the environmentalists should show up at the pride parades and oppose them. And then the Palestinian protesters should show up because they know Allah doesn't like LGBTQIA plus types. And by the way, shouldn't the government of the United States under the Biden administration condemn Islam and Muslimism and jihadis because they are anti-gay, anti-lesbian, anti-bisexuality, all the LGBT stuff the Muslims are against? They throw gay people off of roofs. They stone gay people to death. Why isn't the government of the United States against Palestine, against Hamas, and against all of Islam for that? I tell you what, I think all these groups should show up. I think Antifa should show up. I think they should all show up. BLM needs to show up. I think that the pro-abortion Satanists should show up. Oh, yeah, just the plain old regular Satanists should show up. I think they should all show up together. And then we'll see what the fuck happens. Talk about a mix of a bunch of weirdos. And violent weirdos at that. Anyways, man, I couldn't help that. Had to go down that road because it is a wacky, wild Wednesday of SHTF. Okie dokie. Thank you. Let's address that one right now. Sending you a quick little message. Name redacted says, this could be the daytime modern version of the Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht was in Germany in the 1930s when the Nazi party, they had control. Thank you, Uman. Had control of the government. Hitler proclaimed himself Führer, the boss rather than just chancellor, because the Reichstag burned. The Nazis were taking control. Hitler Youth was running wild. They had brown shirts. Brown shirts is the same as BLM shirts. And they were running around murdering people, but Kristall knocked. They showed up at night. They all went out at night and started breaking windows on Jewish businesses and other businesses and homes of people that the Nazi Party didn't approve. So I believe it was blacks, Jews, gypsies, Russians, Ukrainians, Lithuanian, anyone who wasn't pure German, right? Because they were told you'll support pure Germany. Now we're told you have to support pure perversion. Anyways, yeah, don't worry. The Pride Month is a whole month. That includes day and night. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see something kick off uncontrollable riots and mass stupidity the same way we saw it in 2020. And I think what's going to happen is, while the Biden administration doesn't want to look like it's inept or incapable of handling things, and the Democrat mayors don't want to look bad in this election cycle, where the Republicans are more than likely going to maintain and keep control of the House of Representatives, they might take the Senate, even though at least, 7/8 of the fucking senators that are Republican, they're a bunch of rhinos anyway. But they're afraid of losing it. But if they see they're going to lose the White House, if they see the Democrat Party, that Biden can't win, they may pull the parachute, punch out, let the country go into chaos and turmoil, and blame Trump for it. See, Trump is out running his mouth. He's talking a bunch of shit, right? He's a bad guy. Expect it, folks. Just expect it. They all need someone else to blame and excuse themselves from responsibility. That's what they're looking for. They want to profess the guilt of others and claim for themselves the mantle of innocence. Crazy stuff. All right, name redacted. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Uman, what do you want to do next? What are we going to discuss? I know there's one thing here I want to talk to you about. We'll get to it. I know. We still got, likes, 10 minutes left. Badass Diving Frog said, John, the powers that be want us in a war in the Middle East. Don't be surprised if Washington, D.C. doesn't start pushing the neocon Bush-Cheney position on us to get us in. Hey, the neocon party is not Bush-Cheney. By the way, you spell Bush like Bush beer, man. Now I'm thirsty. The neocon folks are the Nikki Haley type Republicans. They are the Biden-Harris Democrats, the Upchuck Schumer and Senator Lindsey Graham Republicans and Democrats. And yes, the Bushes and the Cheneys, all of these rhinos and Democrats, the uniparty, they want us in wars. There's a big problem right now, folks. The Federal Reserve Chairman, who I talked about earlier, Jerome Powell, who is the chief goon of the Federal Reserve, he had his cage rattled, his confidence shaken, because inflation, folks, wholesale inflation, not consumer inflation, but wholesale inflation has exploded higher. And remember, all they can do is print money, print currency, and change the interest rates. That's their toolbox. All else that they claim they can do is gaslighting the American people and investors and lying to them, lying to all of us, lying to the government, lying to the president, and stealing from us, America, and stealing from the world through inflation and the destruction and devaluation of purchasing power in the U.S. dollar. It's going to get nasty. Okay, thank you. And yeah, they do want war. They need war. They need war. All right. Mr. Uman, where are we going next? Who has something to say? And Uman himself. He says, assassinations of high-ranking government officials, eh? Oh, wait. Apparently, Uman has changed from his black cool hat to a tinfoil hat. Anyways, he says, gotta wonder if that's a precursor to something bigger. And he's talking about the Slovakian prime minister, Mr. Fico, who was shot 5 freaking times by a Democrat-type socialist. Yeah, a left-wing writer. He writes. He puts his opinions and his thoughts, his political perspectives out there through whatever he writes. In any event, I do think it's a precursor to something bigger, Mr. Uman. I won't be surprised if there aren't more assassinations. Remember, in Hungary, very close to Slovakia, they have a prime minister named Viktor Orban, who is also no illegal immigrants, no scumbags from third world shithole countries allowed, no LGBTQIA, no woke crap, and they don't support this endless retarded war, which is actually Zelensky committing the act of genocide, sending his people to be slaughtered by the Russian military, who is occupying former Ukraine states who took votes. That's right, these breakaway states in Ukraine took a vote and joined the Russian Federation. They divorced Ukraine and got married to Russia. Funny how that works. People determining through democracy and voting what they want to do. That's funny. I think the United States government, NATO, I think the European Union all said, we object to the votes that were taken. We think that there was voter fraud in these breakaway republics. You know, we want to sue to have a recount. But in America, if someone says there's voter fraud and the election was stolen and it's not right, well, you get to go to jail. That's not allowed anymore. Good golly. All right, Mr. Uman. If you got a good one, I got one more too, and we've got 7 minutes left. What do we want to discuss? What's on your mind? Mikey G steps in. He says, hey, the Fed lied to us again. Lower rates? We were just kidding. Yeah. I listened to one expert today while traveling from one job to another. And this guy said, look, where the interest rates were and where they are now, it costs you 40% more to buy the same house. We're not even counting inflation. We're just talking the increase in the cost of financing because of the interest rates that go higher. It's either that or, look, if you can't afford 40% more money to buy that house, you have to buy a house that's 40% smaller, almost half the size to be able to afford it. Now, calling him a liar, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Chief Goon Powell, lied to us because they've been talking lowering rates. That's called jawboning. That's called bullshitting. That's called lying or gaslighting. Telling people, investors in America, hey, they're going to lower rates. They're going to lower rates. They said they're going to lower rates. So we should spend money now. We should go out and spend money because we'll just refinance in the future. They're going to lower rates. They keep saying they're going to lower rates, but then they don't. And they haven't. But they don't have any fucking choice, folks. They don't have any choice. They're going to have to do something. And every bank, when they have what's known as fiat money or fake money, aka currency that is not backed by gold, silver, or something real, when they can just print all the fucking money they want, when there's nothing stopping them on the monetary policy, and the governments fiscal policy is spend more money than we ever take in taxes. Let's spend this much and we'll get this much. And then spend this much and get this much. They debase or ruin the value of the currency. They destroy its purchasing power. So who wants US dollars if inflation is 10%, 15%? It's crazy. Just kidding. That's what there's right. Listen, I was walking in the restaurant, the store the other day, and I actually saw steak that was on sale. And you know how much it was on sale? It was $6 a pound off of normal prices. I was like, fucking steak is in the 20s. You're going to pay $20 a pound for steak, and they have it on sale for $6 off. Steak used to cost $6 or less just to buy it. Now the sale price to entice people is fucking $6 off. They tell you they're going to lower interest rates to entice you to go buy real estate. This is crazy. It's crazy. It's fucking wacky, wild ass Wednesday. What's on your mind? Let's do another one, Mr. Uman, and I'm going to see if somebody wants to talk about the last story. Okay, name redacted said they're becoming real adept at using the legal system that they claim to hate. Oh, yeah. We'll just go with that. There are also a lot of the lawyers. Yeah. These people, folks, it's all fucked up. The left hates America and hates government, hates the Constitution, but they'll lie, cheat, and steal, then use the legal system to attack their enemies. They hate the legal system. They claim to. They hate America. They claim it, but they'll use it. They hate your rights, but they claim that you don't have any. You don't have a right to a gun. You don't have a right to say what you want. You don't have a right to freedom. You don't have a right to privacy. You don't have a right to property. You don't have a right to travel. You don't have a right to eat food. Anyways, you guys missed it. Today, a barge collided with a bridge, caused a partial collapse, spilled oil in the river. That's the last news story. I've been waiting for somebody to say they're going after our bridges again. I just think these captains and crews are incompetent. That's what I think. I don't think there's an intentional move to destroy American infrastructure. But what they need to do, the Biden administration needs to take a page from New York City's Mayor Adams, take it out of his playbook. Remember, he said that we should have illegal immigrants as lifeguards because they're good swimmers, as if they swam from Africa or the Middle East over the Atlantic Ocean to America. You can count on them to swim. How about this? Joe Biden should come out and say, we need to hire illegal immigrants to drive our barges and tugboats and tankers and cargo cruisers. We need to have them because they're good at navigating boats. Because after all, they sailed here from Mars successfully. I can almost hear him say something that stupid. Almost. Fuck. What a day, folks. Once again, thank you to everybody for signing up for $2 a month. Some of you have done more. Thank you at thepreparedmind.club. And there's also subscribestar.com where you can join us and support us and be here live on a day-by-day basis. Woo! 0 dark 30 is when you'll see me next. You guys be cool, be safe. Semper Fi means always faithful to God, country, and everything I believe to be true and correct. Semper Fi.